So my trip started with a hiccup. Turns I was as I mentioned on the show not last week, but I guess 2 weeks ago, that I would be leaving on a Wednesday and returning on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was mistaken. I was supposed to be leaving on a Tuesday, so I totally missed my flight to Cuba.
I didn't know that.
Totally missed my flight to Cuba. I was here with you when I printed out my tickets. When I was pretty much right when we were printing out those tickets is when I should have been boarding my flight, and I was like, I'm gonna go buy some sandals now. And then I got home and was like looking through the fine print to see like how heavy my luggage can be and this and that, and then I realized, oh no, not in the fine print, in the main print.
Yeah,
my flight was hours ago. I've missed my flight
in the regular print.
Yeah. So I panicked. I called the booking agency, I guess you would call it, and pretty much started by saying, "Hey, listen, I'm a big dummy. My flight was 4 hours ago, but I thought it was tomorrow. How can you save my trip?" And the lady was such a sweetheart. She was like, "Oh, God bless you. Like I was just calling myself a dummy and like trying to be charming and stuff." And so long story short, she told me that I can buy a ticket for the next day. And I was like, that works. She's like, let's see if we can get you to stay an extra day. I said, I can't. It doesn't matter. I don't need to stay the extra day. Let me just have the trip that I thought I was going to have. Yeah. All right. So she tells me a price. I'm going to pay for a one-way ticket. She leaves. She comes back. It's going to be more expensive than that because you can't buy a one-way ticket to Cuba. You need to be able to return home. And so I said, I have a ticket back, though. I already have that ticket. Somehow it's still... So the price went from like $350 extra on my vacation to $450 extra on my vacation. Wow. I was like, wow, that's... All right, that's an expensive lesson. And then I said, okay, so $450 extra bucks. I get my plane ticket down there. I get my shuttle from the airport to the hotel. All right, I guess that's what it is. So she takes my credit card information, puts me on hold, comes back, says, so it didn't include the shuttle. With the shuttle to the airport, it's going to be like $660. I was like, oh, man, I could buy a whole other vacation for that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh,
this doesn't sound like she's helping you out. It just sounds like you are buying another trip to Cuba.
Pretty much. And
doesn't sound like a solution.
Well, I mean, I'd still be out $1,000 for the whole trip if I didn't go at all.
It's true.
So I spent more money so that I could to recuperate my trip.
Okay. But so really there was nothing she could do.
More or less. And then, $660 later, I go, I guess that's what it is. she said within the next hour, you're going to get an email for your new ticket. Okay, perfect. I'm waiting. I'm refreshing my email. And then I get a phone call and it's her saying, I knew something wasn't right. It's not costing you $660. You're getting I think she gave me like a $500 rebate on the $660 I just spent. So it wasn't that bad.
Oh.
It wasn't that bad at all. So I went on my trip.
Yeah, you made it.
Made it to Cuba. Landed in Cuba. It was hot and beautiful and sunny. The beach was gorgeous. I got to live a dream of mine, a fantasy I've had for a long time, which is to sit on a beach, listening to Sleepwalk by Santo and Johnny, one of my favorite songs, a 1950s slow dance song with no lyrics.
Okay.
It's just the most peaceful, tropical, more like Hawaiian, I guess, song, but whatever. Yeah. And drink alcohol out of a coconut. Nice. It's either a coconut or pineapple in my fantasy. And so I got to sit on a beach, listen to my favorite song, and drinking alcohol out of a coconut. And I just put that song on loop and just listen to it over and over.
For 7 days.
Beautiful afternoon for 7 days.
In this fantasy, are you wearing a white suit with a nice white hat and some sunglasses?
just swim trunks, maybe.
So it wasn't a classy affair. I really picture people in Cuba, Havana especially, need to be wearing white suits.
White suit, white hat, of course, yeah. That was not the case for me. I don't own a white suit. I had a white shirt with red and blue anchors on it.
Spending money every which way, spending $600 here, $600 there, Just spend $600 on a white suit.
On a white suit, why not? Nice linen suit for just for the one trip to Cuba.
Yeah.
I was throwing money around on coconuts. But no, it was a very nice, relaxing trip. I know it doesn't show, but I got a tan. I just look like a normal, healthy person now, as opposed to a sickly, pale person. I read 3 books and sat in the sun and enjoyed the sun, and it pretty much immediately got a rash. A terrible rash all over my body.
That's the Cuban scabies I was talking about.
Yeah, on my forearms and back and abdomen. And I just didn't know, and a little on my face. I just didn't know what I did. I thought maybe I ate some Cuban food that didn't agree with me or something. Maybe I had an allergy that I wasn't aware of. And only when I got back did I realize what had happened. I thought maybe it was a heat rash or something like that. I Googled that. That's exactly what happened. So I gave myself a rash, basically, because I never allowed my pores to breathe. So I got to Cuba, covered myself head to toe in sunscreen, and then in the evening took a shower and covered myself head to toe in lotion, so as to not to moisturize my skin. Even if it burnt a little bit, that'd be fine. But in doing so, I never let my skin breathe. Yeah. And so I got a rash all over my body because I could not sweat. When the body can't sweat, it gets a rash, apparently.
You're like a baked potato wrapped in tinfoil.
Yeah, something.
Not letting yourself get what you need.
Yeah. And so, I went to Cuba and immediately gave myself a rash and just continued sitting in the sun, wondering. And I thought to myself on several occasions while I'm reading a book, going like, "Nah, it's really hot, but I'm not sweating. That's odd," and not think much more than that about it.
You're sweating internally.
Yeah, exactly, more or less. Yeah.
Rash.
Aside from that, honestly, I was lucky. I had good weather. The only day that it was overcast was basically a hangover day for me. I decided to sleep in that day and take a nap, and it was fine because it was not a sunny day. I went to a nearby village and didn't buy anything except I went to a little ice cream shop. This little ice cream shop that looked like it was right out of the 50s, named Betty's. I was with two American girls I met, so I said, let's all get some ice cream. And I was thinking, we were the only people in there. I was thinking, do you think this place is ever busy? It was this big empty ice cream parlor.
It was busy that moment.
Yeah, I guess relatively speaking. But I was wondering, like, this place looks like it's never busy. I'd like to imagine that maybe in the summer, on a real hot summer night, this place is packed. It's bumping. It's happening. And then only once I finished my ice cream and we continued on our way, did I realize why it was never busy. There was a much nicer, much newer ice cream joint right next door.
You immediately threw up your ice cream. So you could have
so that I could have
ice
more.
Cream.
I spent an evening in Havana, which wasn't that eventful really. I took a cab out to Havana, went to a bar, had a pina colada, walked around a bit, went to another bar, had another pina colada because I had a taste for it now. Yep. They put a cinnamon in it. It was real nice. And took a cab back to Havana. To my hotel. The cabs were all these nice 1950s American cars, big old Pontiacs and Buicks and what have you. Okay. I was in a Buick, and I realized the cars that look the best run the worst, and vice versa. This was a beautiful car, but oh boy, did I have a tough time getting anywhere.
It's all the sand in the motor.
Well, I guess it's just the upkeep. Like either you can afford to upkeep the look of your car or the function of your car.
What would you pick one?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you entered a time warp.
In a way, man. In a way.
Sounds very. Was Havana similar to Dirty Dancing 2, Havana Nights?
I never saw Dirty Dancing 2, Havana Nights, but I would assume that it is.
It emulates it, I would imagine.
The architecture is beautiful. All these old buildings are... a lot of buildings were like under renovations, and I thought it was neat how most buildings seem to not serve their intended purpose. So you'd have this beautiful old bank building that's a dance club now, and
there
things like that.
Yeah. A dirty dance club.
A dirty dance club. But yeah, it was a good trip. And then on my way back, I was delayed because of a snowstorm in Montreal, and so I was supposed to leave at like noon, and then a representative from the airline came by and said, "Oh, you're not leaving yet. There's a big snowstorm in Montreal, so we're gonna come back at like 8:30."
Even when you're down here, Montreal's weather is still affecting
right.
your
And
trip.
so they picked me up at 8:30. And I just sat around the hotel lobby that whole day because it was a rainstorm down there too.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting around for hours in a hotel lobby. Got in the bus or got in the cab, went to the airport, sat in the airport for like 3 hours before another representative from the airline came and said, "You're not going home tonight." I was like,
specifically
oh,
to you.
Well, actually, yes, because I was sitting all alone. So he just came up to me, and you'd think that. And I was also thinking like, this is not looking good because there's about 5 people here waiting for a whole airplane. No way does that make sense. It's not only going to be 5 people on this whole airplane, so this is not looking good. So the airline picked us up, brought us like a 45-minute drive outside from the airport. I'm wondering like, where am I going? What's going on here? And they were bringing us all to a hotel just to sleep the night, and we'd be picked up again at 9 a.m. to presumably go catch our flight.
Yeah.
Went to this 45 minutes out hotel, and oh my God, this was the most beautiful hotel I've ever stepped foot in. Gorgeous 5-star hotel. The bellhop brought me to my room, showed me all the features. He's like, "Look, there's a air conditioning here. When you open the patio door, the air conditioning will automatically turn off. Here's a mini fridge. Everything in it is free, of course. It's already taken care of. This is the TV. I'll show you the channels here. This is a phone number if you want to order in some food if you're hungry." I said, "This is wonderful. You're wonderful. Thank you. That's so great." I give him a tip. And then took a bubble bath and ordered a burger to my room while watching late night TV. It was the most luxurious part of my trip.
That's the vacation.
Oh, that was the vacation right there. It was amazing. I got they knocked on my door for room service, and I put on a white robe and answered the door. Oh, it was wonderful. It was amazing. I felt like a
character from Dirty Dancing. One of the was it? Anyway, think of what you want to say.
I felt like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 2. It was terrific.
Ah, that sounds nice,
doesn't it?
That's one of my dreams, is to feel like Kevin McAllister from Home Alone 2.
This was an amazing 5-star hotel. The marble floors, everything was phenomenal. From the toilet, there was a phone. I felt like a billionaire in the 80s. I was able to order food from the toilet. I ordered a hamburger and then ate it in a bubble bath. The only thing is that hamburger was a ham burger.
It was a hamburger?
It was not made of beef. It was made of ham, as
okay.
Almost everything else in Cuba is.
A lot of Cuban swine?
I guess so. You know what? It was a little disappointing, I'll be honest, as was most of the food there. But on the other hand, I was really happy to sink my teeth into a burger.
And toilet phone. Yeah. I would have thought maybe you could just call other people that are also on their toilets.
Oh.
Just that was the point of that.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
And now I'll say the whole trip, the food in Cuba is not good. Honestly, that ice cream that I had was one of the nicest things I had on my whole trip. Well, it was mostly like awful pancakes. I mentioned these American girls that I went to the little village with. She literally had to spit up one of those pancakes. She couldn't eat it. There was, just a lot of flavorless fruit and vegetables, a lot of ham and sausages and hard-boiled eggs.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't poisonous, but it was nourishment, and that's the most of what it was. It was like, all right, it's lunchtime. Let me go nourish my body.
Try to keep it down.
Yeah.
If you can keep it down, you've done your job.
Exactly. And I was thinking to myself, oh boy, I used to think to myself that I could just eat for nourishment, but oh no, this really showed me that I appreciate some good food.
Yeah.
And so once I got to that 5-star hotel, and another thing about my hotel, it was really full of old people, very old people.
Uh-huh.
There were no young people. I was probably the youngest person there. There was a man there that I was looking at him. I was going, "Why aren't you dead? How are you alive? You're just hanging on, aren't you?" And there were a lot of those those weird couples where it's like this is like a 50-year-old Japanese